AI was supposed to give us our time back.
Yeah, that was the big promise.
But somehow we're just spending more hours wrangling prompts. We're drowning in endless browser tabs all day.
Mm-hmm. And we do manual data transfers every single day.
It really feels like a modern technological trap.
We definitely got faster at tiny individual tasks, but the overall workflow remains completely manual.
Right. We are still the ones connecting the dots manually. We are the exhausted middle managers of our own tools.
Exactly.
Welcome to our deep dive for today. We are exploring a completely different approach to work.
That is exactly our mission for today. We are moving past the exhausted consumer pattern completely.
That pattern is where you manually switch between different tools.
Right. Instead, we are learning to build automated background systems. We're going to do this using Claude and NotebookLM.
I have to admit something vulnerable to you here. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. B. You think you have a perfect instruction set,
Oh, yeah.
but then the AI slowly loses the plot over time. It is a constant, frustrating battle every day.
Mm-hmm. You are definitely not alone in that struggle. Most founders are feeling that exact same operational pain.
AI speeds up our daily task execution wonderfully.
But it doesn't reduce our operational complexity at all. It often just creates faster, messier information silos.
Before we start building these new automated systems today, let's unpack the fundamental problem we are facing.
Yeah, we need to understand this invisible drain on our energy. It comes directly from our fragmented working habits.
The data on this fragmentation is actually staggering.
It really is. Look at the recent McKinsey research on this topic. Knowledge workers lose 20% of their week.
Wow.
That time is spent just searching for internal information.
That is nearly a full workday every single week. You are just hunting for things across different apps.
Yeah, and the APQC research backs this up entirely. They found workers lose nearly 3 hours weekly.
Just trying to find necessary operational files.
Exactly. They are searching through messy documents and messaging colleagues.
It is an incredibly frustrating way to work. It drains your executive function before you even start.
And it gets exponentially worse with team coordination. A 3-person company loses several working days every week.
Most businesses just treat this as normal operational overhead. But it absolutely shouldn't be normal for us anymore.
Right. Asana actually found that 53% of work time is wasted. They call this frustrating phenomenon work about work.
That means endless searching, app switching, and internal coordination. We are managing the work instead of actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a fundamental question about our current approach. Does adding more advanced AI tools actually solve this? Or does it just create more disjointed tabs to manage?
Well, that is the crucial architectural question. Usually adding more standalone tools makes the fragmentation worse.
The biggest problem isn't any individual AI tool failing.
No, it is the mechanical gap between the different tools. You do deep research in one browser tab today.
Then you copy and save notes somewhere else entirely.
Exactly. Then you write client summaries in yet another distinct place. Every time you hand off data manually, friction happens.
That friction slowly drains your team's collective mental energy. So the friction of moving data manually drains our focus completely.
Yes, we desperately need to build an automated bridge.
Since manual handoffs are the clear enemy here, how do we actually bridge that digital gap mechanically?
We combine 2 specific tools with opposite complementary strengths. We use Claude and NotebookLM together as a unified system.
They are fundamentally different by their core architectural design.
Right. Let's break down those distinct architectural differences carefully. Claude is essentially the active dynamic execution engine.
It searches the live web for recent external context.
Yeah, it monitors daily updates and moves quickly, but its outputs can lack strict factual grounding sometimes.
It relies heavily on its vast but generalized training data.
NotebookLM works in the exact opposite way conceptually. It isn't built to find new outside information independently.
But it is a highly secure, grounded knowledge base.
Let's pause and define that specific jargon for a second.
Good idea.
Grounded knowledge means AI answers restricted only to your approved business documents.
That is a perfect, concise definition. NotebookLM uses your actual PDF files securely and strictly.
It relies on your standard operating procedures and meeting notes.
Separately, both of these tools feel a little incomplete.
Claude pulls fresh context. NotebookLM keeps things strictly organized.
Yeah, but once connected, it stops feeling like a simple AI chat. It starts working like an autonomous background system.
But how do these two actually communicate without human intervention? Standard Claude cannot natively pilot a web browser.
Right, it cannot just organically log into your NotebookLM account.
So how does the bridge actually work?
That is where the technical mechanism becomes truly fascinating. We use a developer tool called Claude Code Routines.
It is a command line interface that runs locally.
Exactly. It can execute Python scripts and handle API handoffs automatically. So it isn't just magic happening in the browser. Claude Code is actually running small scripts in the background.
Right. You can instruct Claude Code to format its research findings. It saves those findings directly to a synced Google Drive folder.
And NotebookLM is directly integrated with that specific Google Drive folder.
Yes, it automatically ingests the new text files without manual uploads.
Claude acts as the scout. NotebookLM is the secure home base.
Exactly. The Scout drops the intel in a secure lockbox. The home base reads it and updates its internal maps.
Now let's apply that setup to a realistic business scenario. Let's construct a hypothetical company to trace this data lifecycle.
Let's do it.
Imagine we are a software company selling logistics tools. Let's look at the front lines of our business first.
We are talking about preparing for a high-stakes sales call. This is a classic, frustrating time sink for many founders.
A meeting with a major shipping firm gets booked for tomorrow.
Most founders spend 15 to 20 minutes researching manually. They skim through LinkedIn profiles and look at company websites.
And they usually end up sounding totally generic on the call.
Yeah, they sound like everyone else calling that exact same week. The absolute best salespeople make prospects feel understood immediately.
They do this before the conversation even formally starts. We can achieve that leverage using our Scout and home base.
Yes, you instruct your Claude Code routine to research the prospect deeply. You give Claude a highly structured, automated prompt.
You tell it to research the prospect's exact company name.
Right. You ask for their main logistical value proposition explicitly. You want recent supply chain blog posts from the last 60 days.
You also want any recent news or industry press mentions.
You even have it check the shipping founder's recent LinkedIn activity.
Then it structures everything into a very specific, readable document.
Exactly. It builds a company overview and recent market activity section. It outlines main logistical challenges and a suggested call angle.
It saves this structured text directly into your connected Google Drive.
Which immediately syncs the fresh external sources into your NotebookLM.
And this is where the magic synergy finally happens. Your NotebookLM already holds your internal company case studies.
It holds your complex pricing documents and detailed service overviews.
Now the system sees both sides of the equation simultaneously.
Right. It sees what the shipping prospect actually cares about today. And it sees what your logistics software can uniquely solve.
The resulting synthesis is immediate and highly customized for you.
You get instant audio overviews of the tailored sales strategy. You get detailed strategic mind maps and specific call summaries.
It takes mere minutes instead of nearly half an hour.
It completely changes how you approach the initial discovery conversation. It feels much more like working with a senior strategy partner.
I have a fundamental issue with this setup, though. My immediate fear is hallucinated sales pitches happening here.
That is a very valid concern.
We cannot promise routing features our engineering team hasn't built yet. If Claude pulls wild claims, how do we stop it?
That is exactly why NotebookLM is so architecturally crucial here. It actively cross-references the new external web research findings.
It anchors everything strictly against your verified internal company materials.
Exactly. It uses vector search to strictly map allowable claims. It simply will not invent new random software services for you.
Right. It cross-checks web data against our actual company documents.
Exactly. The Scout finds the opportunity, but the home base validates it. You still review the final output before the actual meeting.
But the quality control is structurally embedded in the workflow.
Yes.
So you successfully use the automated system to close the deal. The shipping firm is now a paying logistics software client.
Awesome.
But what happens 6 months down the long operational line? Let's talk about long-term dynamic knowledge management now.
This is where things usually break down badly for scaling companies. Your customer support AI starts giving clients outdated information.
Your logistics product changes, but the AI remains totally stuck.
Yeah. A stale AI is honestly kind of like a bad employee.
It's like a senior salesperson who stopped reading critical company updates.
They sound incredibly confident, but they are factually entirely wrong. That is honestly much worse than having no AI at all.
You lose hard-earned client trust very quickly that way. How do we fix this inevitable frustrating knowledge drift?
It's a process.
Do we have to manually delete old vectors from the database?
No, you put your core foundational documents into NotebookLM first. This includes your internal software FAQs and your client onboarding documents.
This becomes the reliable main brain behind your customer support agent.
Exactly. So the central organizational brain is set up securely.
When major software features change, you only update those source documents.
Yes. But to catch the subtle shifts, you set up a weekly edge case sweep. You let Claude routinely check places where novel problems usually appear.
How does this sweep actually function mechanically in the background?
You set up a scheduled Claude code routine via API. Claude connects to your support inbox and internal Slack channels securely.
It looks closely at the last 7 days of raw data.
Right. It uses semantic search to find very specific types of anomalies. It looks for complex routing questions the support AI could not answer.
Or intricate questions it answered incorrectly during the busy week.
Yeah. It also finds client complaints suggesting your technical documentation is outdated.
And it finds new software features mentioned internally by engineers but left undocumented. It finds the dangerous knowledge gaps automatically for you.
Exactly. Claude synthesizes these messy new edge cases into crisp, short sentences. It formats them into a simple text file update.
Then it drops that file into the sync drive automatically every week.
Right.
It's basically like stacking Lego blocks of data.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep adding new foundational pieces to the solid base.
That is a brilliant visual way to picture the continuous process. The knowledge base systematically updates itself around the latest operational reality.
Your support AI agent stays razor sharp instead of slowly drifting away.
Right.
But wait, is it fundamentally dangerous to let AI rewrite its own brain?
That is a great question.
What if it learns the entirely wrong procedural lesson from Slack? What if it misinterprets a sarcastic joke as a new company policy?
That is a very profound and important safeguard to discuss now. The background workflow does all the heavy analytical lifting for you.
It formats the proposed new rules cleanly for review.
But a mandatory human review is always required before going live. Final contextual judgment should still belong entirely to your human team.
The AI drafts the new rules, but a human clicks approve.
Exactly. It saves massive analytical time without sacrificing your final executive control. This builds long-term operational trust.
Which improves complex client retention immensely.
Absolutely.
Sponsor. Scaling your business operations requires technical systems you can actually trust. Building these resilient workflows takes the right kind of foundational infrastructure. Check our detailed show notes for resources on building these reliable background systems. Now, let's get back to our deep dive conversation.
Let's do it.
Okay, we are back to our deep dive exploration today. We have successfully secured our automated sales preparation workflow. We have stabilized our internal customer support knowledge base beautifully. Now, how do we monitor the outside world automatically?
We do it systematically without lifting a single manual finger. Running a tech business without continuous competitive intelligence is highly dangerous.
It is quite literally like driving down the highway with your mirrors covered.
Exactly.
You can theoretically move forward, but you are totally strategically blind. You won't see the sudden market shift until it crashes into you.
So we intentionally build a dedicated competitive radar system. You set this up directly inside your NotebookLM environment first.
You add your top competitors' main marketing websites.
And their detailed pricing pages.
You also add your own strategic positioning document or current pitch deck.
Right. That establishes your baseline strategic context for the entire AI system. That way, NotebookLM automatically notices what actually changed recently.
It understands the context of why a competitor's change actually matters.
Yeah. It takes about 5 minutes to do this initial foundational setup. Then you use Claude code routines to give the system legs.
This lets you schedule a recurring, automated weekly research task. You literally write scheduled background instructions for the AI to follow blindly.
Every single Sunday night at 8 p.m., Claude quietly goes to work. Let's say we are tracking competitors like Linear, Notion, or ClickUp.
It scans their external sites for subtle pricing tier changes.
And new product launches. It diligently checks for new engineering job postings and subtle press mentions.
It looks strictly at fresh data from the last 7 days.
Right. It meticulously organizes all of those strategic findings by specific competitor. Then it formats a clean update file for the synced drive.
It adds the most important competitive findings as new structured sources. Then it updates the internal NotebookLM strategic mind map automatically.
Yeah, it generates a short executive summary and a synthesized audio overview. Whoa, beat. Imagine waking up Monday to a fully generated audio briefing of your competitor's every move.
2-sec silence. That is just incredible strategic power for any modern software founder. But how does this actually run completely without the user clicking anything?
Good question.
I thought Claude code always required a manual terminal command to execute. How do we make it fully autonomous in the background?
That is the absolute beauty of the operating system's native scheduling tools. You can use standard cron jobs on Mac or Task Scheduler on Windows.
You wrap the Claude code command in a simple recurring background script.
Exactly. Once you set that routine, it triggers itself completely automatically.
You basically program a weekly alarm clock for an AI spy.
That is exactly what it is in practical business reality, and it only takes about 20 minutes to set up initially.
After that brief setup, it mostly runs completely on its own forever. We really need to slow down and synthesize this whole journey.
Yeah, let's recap.
The massive takeaway here is not just about saving mundane time. Yes, saving 40 hours a month is a genuinely fantastic operational result, but it is really a fundamental, profound shift in your psychological mindset.
Most casual consumers use individual AI apps to get a single, isolated answer. They start from absolute ground zero every single time they type.
A tool gives you one static answer when you finally ask it.
Right. Smart founders build interconnected background systems that work tirelessly in the shadows.
These integrated systems keep generating better, richer answers over time naturally. They aggressively compound your operational market advantage while you sleep peacefully.
If you only build one single system from today, listen closely now. Make it the automated competitive radar we just discussed deeply.
It takes just 20 short minutes to set up once today.
It runs automatically every single week for you without fail. It will completely change how you confidently start your Monday mornings.
Here's a final, slightly unsettling thought for you to ponder today.
Oh, I am ready.
Our background AI agents are constantly researching our industry competitors now. They're constantly adapting to the subtle daily market changes automatically.
Right.
But our smart competitors are undoubtedly building background AI agents too.
Yeah.
Are we rapidly approaching a future where businesses are just massive AI ecosystems? Ecosystems quietly negotiating and competing with each other constantly in the background, while we humans just sit back, sip coffee, and read the Monday morning summaries.
That is a wild, fascinating thought to leave on today.
Keep your strategic mirrors uncovered out there. We'll see you next time. OTR Music.